how do we target the right audience? That's important. So we have to think of it in those terms. How do we target the right audience? So the question is in marketing, how do you know what target you're going to hit if you don't have it, right? So here's the idea. There are plenty of companies that I see all the time. They just throw the ball up against the wall, hoping to hit something. Occasionally, somebody's going to be walking by and get hit in the head, because that will happen occasionally, and that's luck. But if you have a target, you know immediately whether or not you're hitting the target. Does that make sense? Like in this example, we knew that Sean threw the ball, and he was right at target, he was left in target, he was dead center, but we have that idea because we're able to understand what the target is. So the first part of the exercise is knowing where your target is and having that target in your mind. That's what you have to do. You have to create that target. So that's part of targeting. Okay? Here, I'll show you another quick thing, and you guys can follow along with me if you like. I'm going to draw something here, and I want you guys to follow along with me, okay? So let's see something here. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. And let's go that way. And let's go that way. Okay. All right. So, take a look at this for a second. How many squares do you see? 16. 16, okay. So we all see that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if this was a whole market, those 16 might be your sub-markets. Make sense? But are there any more squares there?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think, Bradley?
There's a big square outside, like the whole thing.
The whole thing, right? Okay, so that's 17 now. Anybody see any other squares?
Oh, when you do 4 together.
4 together. So hold on, I'm going to use a different color marker. So these 4 here, right?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, right? And boom, right? Okay. So that's 17 plus 4, so that gives us 21, right? Okay, anybody else see any other squares?
The one in the middle.
Hold on. Which one? No? What do you have? Go ahead.
On each square, there's 4 squares in each.
So which way?
All of them in each square.
Oh, in each square. So in here?
In each square?
Yep.
In each square, there's 4 squares.
Oh, so right here, right. But that's the 16, the original 16 that we counted.
No.
He's saying that, she's saying in one square,
Yeah?
there's 4 other squares, like. Can I?
Yeah, come draw.
Alright, so
She's
basically,
saying basically putting a line.
she's saying in this square,
So all of them, they all.
Oh, okay, you're going within the box. That's good. I like that thinking. But that's good. You're right. I never came that way, but that's pretty good. But just with the lines that you see, I have to rephrase this question the next time. That's the first time someone said, no, within the square. But you're right. If you visionary that way.
3 by 3.
Yeah, so you could do, 3 by 3 would be, 3 by 3 here, right?
Yes.
So that would be 1 here, right? 3 by 3 would be 1 here. And then you do another one here, right? And then you could do another one here, and then you could do another one here. So that's another 4. So that gives us 25. Where else?
There's one in the middle.
One in the middle, right? So that gives us 26. Where else?
There's a square on the top.
A square on the top.
Top, middle, and
Yeah, so that's 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, so there you go, 30. I think that's everything. If you don't count the little squares in each box, all right?
there's more though.
You think there's more?
Yeah.
I don't know.
31.
Where's 31?
I don't think you count, oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't count that. So there's 30.
I forgot the purple.
But here's the way this example works. So imagine we talked about target markets just a minute ago, right? This big square was your total general target market. But did you notice that within that big square, you had all these other segmented micro markets that you can go after? And then you could take each micro market and break it up into different markets as well. So think of it in those terms. Let's say this is all women who ride a bicycle. Then you can have all women who ride a bicycle at different hours of the day. Then you can have all women who ride bicycles with their kids. Then you can have all women who ride bicycles that are between the ages of 18 and 24. You can have all women who ride bicycles only in Miami with ages between 18 and 24. So you can actually drill down all the way down to very tiny circles. And if you go even deeper, I do like that answer, you can even have more squares within each square too. So that's what targeting is all about. First finding the big general giant target, and then micro-targeting it down a little more so you're hitting everything impossible and you're sending messages. Sometimes that message is different, and sometimes it's the same, okay? So, that's a very good concept, and targeting is going to be important. Now let's talk about something called, what I'm calling marketing, obviously, but I am calling it growth marketing, all right? So growth marketing is a relatively new term that's been around a couple of years. And everyone has different definitions of growth marketing. But my definition is sort of taking, I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Sort of taking the traditional marketing and adding it with the new tools that we have today, the digital tools. So some of the traditional marketing things would be what? The marketing mix, right? The 4 Ps will be up here. And that would be product, place, promotion, and of course price. Product, place, promotion, and price. Price is always last because it's the most delicate. One thing to always remember when you come to the 4 Ps is I like to always ask somebody these basic questions, right? Who, well first what actually, and I'll go through this in a second. What, who, where, why, when, and how. So let's start there. What is the product? What is the service? What makes you different? That unique value proposition, that USP. Who is your target market, right? Whether it's segmented or total. Where can you find that target market? Why will they buy your product? Why do they exist? Why do they product? When will they buy that product? When will they get the messaging? And how will you communicate a message to them? Right? So the 4 Ps, you're able to answer a lot of those 4 P questions with the what, who, where, why, when, and how. That's some of the stuff we did in elementary school when we did book reports and things like that, right? Okay, so then you would have to sort of add on some of the new content management, right? Content creation. So the content today is delivered 3 ways. What are 3 important content items we have? So I look at a triangle of content like this. The first one today, and I think is the most important, is video content. That's driving a lot of the views. In fact, most traffic today online is through video, right? Raise your hand if you watched the video in the last 30 minutes, right? Oh, half of us, right? How many of you watching video right now in class? Don't raise your hand, I don't want to know. So video content, so video is number 1. The other one is what? If not a video, we look at images, right? Images, or sometimes we look at the written word. And then there's the last one, which will be audio, okay? So audio content. So you take the traditional marketing components, and there's a few more of it, you add it to the content that you need to deliver online, video, image, and audio, and that sort of helps you get to a better spot in your growth marketing plan. Now, if I take all that and I put that over analytics, right? With all the analytics that we have now are important, I'm able to figure out what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong with the use of analytics. So I would back out minus, all the trial and error stuff over here, and then I would get better results, right? Make sense? And we do all of this for one thing in growth marketing, one thing, and that's to create what we call CLV, right? So CLV. What is CLV? Who remembers that? CLV. It stands for Customer Lifetime Value. Make sense? Customer Lifetime Value. Because remember, we don't want our customers just to buy one product from us. We want them to come back and purchase again and again and again. So mathematically, what does that look like? Well, let's say you spend $100 on Facebook advertising. You spend $100 on Facebook advertising. Let's use this as an example. Your average sale is 30 bucks, okay? $30 your average sale. With your Facebook advertising, you've got 5 conversions. So how much revenue did we generate? 5 times 30?
150.
$150 revenue, right? So I'm gonna put revenue here, $150. Okay, so with those 5 conversions, we spent $100 to get them. Did we make money or lose money on that day?
Made money.
What did we do?
We made money.
We made money. Why did we make money?
$50 profit.
$50 profit. Did we make a $50 profit here? Well, let's look at the math there for a second.
Made a $20.
Let's look at the math. Hold on. So let's say here, I'm going to give you basic math. Revenue of 150, right? Okay. In order to get to our top line profits before taxes and all that stuff, we have to back some stuff out. So if I back out, if we're selling a product, we have to pay for that product unless we manufacture it. Even if we manufacture the product, there's cost of goods sold, right? We call that COGS. So cost of goods sold normally is about 50%. If it's less than 50%, that's better. But let's assume it's 50%. So 50%, if we're selling it for 30, our cost for goods sold is going to be $15, right? So in this particular case, 15 times the 5 we sold is how much? 75 bucks, right? So cost of goods sold, $75. In order to sell the product, we have to have people and places and things. That's what we call selling and general administrative expenses, right? We call that SGA. So SGA, generally speaking, if you're a good company, your SGA is no higher than 15%. Okay, let's put it here at 10%. So 10% of the 150 revenue is $15. Okay, then there's marketing. Now we know we already spent the $100 in the Facebook marketing and get these leads, so I'm just going to put that number there. Normally marketing should be between 15 and 25% higher if you're marketing a new product. So I'll put $100 here, all right? By the way, this is all minus, minus, and minus. Let's add them all up. 175 plus 15 is 190. 150 is our revenue, minus the 190 means negative $40. So did we make money or lose money on that deal? We lost money on that one deal. Okay. So that's why when people do digital marketing, when they do ads, if they do the math, they say, wait a second, I'm not getting the bang for my buck, the return on investment. Sometimes that's upside down, but it's really not that bad. Why? Let's say these 5 customers buy that product again. Let's say they buy it 2 times in 1 year, but you don't have to advertise them to them again. That means the additional revenue now is 150, right? And if you go through the cost scenario again, you're less. Your output is less, so you start making more money because now the cost for acquisition goes down. So that's what that customer lifetime value is all about. How many times can you get and keep a customer and grow their business? Because if they buy 5 times a year and you spend that $100, now it only costs you $20 to get them. If they come back in 3 years, it's even less. So that's what it's all about. How do you create customer lifetime value? How do you create this growth marketing so that you're building out the business and getting that return on investment? Does that make sense? That's why in digital marketing, everyone looks for that return on investment on that one sale. The question is, well, how long will we keep them? If a customer spends $10 with you every single month, and they do that for 10 years, that's a nice customer lifetime value. Let's take a look at Amazon. How many people here have Amazon Prime? Right, the whole room almost. Okay. Will you ever, unless something happens drastically, will you ever cancel Amazon Prime? No. No, right? Most of us will not, unless something drastically happens. So if there's 10 of us in the room, and it's up to what, $15 a month now or something like that? 13? All right, if there's 10.
Student discount.
All right, student discount. So let's call it $10 each. There's 10 of us in the room, we pay them $10 a month each. That's $100 each times 12 months, that's $1,200 just in this little room right now. It's higher than that. Imagine that everywhere, every room in the world or in the US, that's why they're one of the largest companies on record. Because they have that automatic customer lifetime value built in. Take a look at Apple, another company. Everyone says the Apple iPad or iPhone is so easy that a four-year-old can use it, right? Do you agree with that or not? More or less.
Yeah.
How many 4-year-olds do you see using iPads and iPhones?
A
You
lot.
see them out there a lot.
Yeah.
So think about this. Unless something goes drastically wrong in the next 20 or 30 years, when that 4-year-old grows up, what products are they going to be buying? Most likely Apple. They already built in that customer lifetime value. They already built that in to grow their market. Do you remember if you had, you don't have to raise your hand for this or not, but if you have children, you take the children home from the hospital, they give you this great little goodie bag. In the goodie bag is Pampers and baby formula. And there's a myth out there, it's not true, but there's a myth out there that if you change the baby's formula in the middle of it when you take them home, that they'll get so sick that it's going to be disastrous, right? Now, some cases that's true because some kids' stomachs are more sensitive than others, but in most cases it's not. But what happens if you take home Formula A? What formula are you going to buy when you run out? Formula A. Do you ever question it? No. What about the diapers? They give you Pampers or whatever the diapers or Loves, whatever the diaper name is, they give you that and you take it home. There's a myth out there saying you can't change diapers because the baby will get a rash and irritated, blah, 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 goes on and on. Well, what diapers do you go out and buy on a regular basis when you run out? Whatever they gave you on the way out, unless you switch and flip. So that's what this is all about. How do we get customers, how do we keep them, and how do we grow customer lifetime value? Anybody in here can get a customer once. But it's the second customer that builds the business. It's the second customer that comes back and builds the business, the repetitiveness, the time over and over again, okay? So that's some of the things we're talking about. In our marketing plan, we will have to have the 4 Ps answered. If you forget everything that we go through over the next few weeks, if you remember the what, the who, the where, the why, the when, the how, you're able to answer some of these questions, tie it into that promotional program. In this case, we're using more digital components, right, than traditional components, and you can still use traditional components. And we're looking at the analytics because marketing is no magic. You either do it and it works, or you do it and it doesn't work. So you have to go back and measure the analytics, and then figure out what's working by trial and error, and that'll give you the results, and then you do it all over again. So it's a repetitive type list. And you're doing that all to build customer lifetime value. That's really the key.